Recording in progress, and let me share my screen to you. You all are requested to update if audio, video, camera signals are okay. All set? That's good. That's good. That's good. Okay. 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 That's great. That's great. Okay. So everyone, yeah, just one honest question I am asking you. Honestly, you have to answer because I am not keeping track of your answer as of now. From the first evaluation, what do you think? How important collection framework is for first week of SB 101? Answer honestly, please. How important the collection framework is? Okay, okay. And definitely, whenever you are going to face any Java interview, then you can actually keep into your mind that 2 to 3 questions from collection framework can be asked. It's a very common thing. And nowadays, if anybody is asking to you about collection framework, then implicitly you can assume that they will 100% ask to you about lambda expressions, method reference, stream API. So collectively nowadays, collection framework, stream API, lambda function, and functional programming. These 4 topics are what you can say hot topic in any Java interview. And lump sum, you can assume that without this topic, you will not be able to clear even a single interview, even if we give you 15 chances. Yes, out of 15, you will not be able to clear even a single interview if you are not comfortable with all these 4 pointers. So why actually you are finding the evaluation hard? Maybe my root cause analysis says you are not actually in the habit of giving manual evaluation. Am I right? This may be the one of the reason that you are finding it difficult. Because I think almost in the last block, you haven't faced any manual evaluation because I think your J111 is already on the OJ. I don't know what is actually there is, what exactly about the DSA and CSBT. I'm not aware about them. Few scholars are actually having a issue that paper was too lengthy. One scholar is writing that paper was too lengthy. So let me give you the exact justification of that because I was expecting this question from your side. This question, this paper, I was able to solve within the period of 70 to 90 minutes. It's my observation. I was able to solve the same paper within the period of 70 to 90 minutes. If I can solve a paper within 70 to 90 minutes, then what do you think? Giving you 180 minutes, isn't it reasonable? Simple question. Just twice of time I'm already giving you. Twice of time. One scholar is writing Java is new for us. That's why you are getting double time. If you are equivalent to me, then you have to complete the same paper within 70 minutes or maybe within 90 minutes. Okay, second thing. Those who have done approximately 3.5 and 4 questions. How important it is to solve assignment for evaluation? Do you find a strong linking between the assignment and the evaluation paper? Yes, it is. Definitely. And many of the questions, if you remember particularly question number 3, then question number 3 was kind of copy paste of question that I have given you assignment. It was 100% same. Yes, it is. Then, well, better not to indulge in too much arguments because better not to indulge too many arguments. Well, see, one scholar is saying that one mock evaluation of this type is necessary, mock evaluation. But actually assignment, see, whenever you are doing assignment, because you people are already somewhat, you can say that very much occupied. You are not having too much amount of time to spend on a single problem. Am I right? You have to take Java class, you have to take DSA class. Some of you or shayad all of you go for CSBT class also. So I think on a single problem, you cannot spend 4 hours if I'm okay with this observation. True. So whenever you are doing assignment, I think you are tracking your time also. Even I am tracking my time, whether I am solving it within a time limit or not. If plus minus some adjustment is there, it is manageable. If I'm taking too much amount of time, then I have to somewhere look into myself. Now I hope you are getting my point. Why I am saying that time is sufficient. Try to understand, you are going to be part of corporate into the next 4 to 5 months, and their time is more important than the money. If you are capable to do the work within the deadline, then you are priceless. Otherwise, whatever, dot, 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 you understand. Okay. Okay. We don't have time to explore. I don't think I have given any question in which some exploration is required. Everything is from the syllabus only, and the syllabus that I covered in the class only, not from anything else. Okay. Well, lot of discussion, enough discussion, enough discussion. If any more issue, then you can raise tickets. Shashir will help you in this. So shall I start my SQL? Shall I start my SQL? Yes. Okay. It is day number 5, and slightly we are lagging. Slightly, not too much. We will manage. No worry. We will manage. So everyone, last time I was talking to you about the concept of data and information. Just a quick summarization that I'm giving you. Data is something that is collection of raw facts, and definitely data is something that is having very less or no business value because it is kind of meaningless information. But whenever you are processing the data, and after processing the data, when you are driving some meaningful facts, when you are driving some meaningful pattern, then this is what actually referred as information. And definitely information is something you can call it is a billion-dollar business nowadays. Once the information is properly compiled, then definitely everybody is having its own set of useful information. And this is something that you can call knowledge. Now the thing arises that how to store the information. Whenever you are talking about storing the information, then definitely pen and paper is one of the most common way still nowadays, but we cannot say that nowadays. 20 years ago or 30 years ago, pen and paper was one of the most common way. Before that, people we used to go for the inscription technique. Nowadays, computer is a common, and in the computer, one of the old way, not reused right now, one of the old way is always to use the file system. What are the drawbacks of the file system? We have already gone through, because your software and your file system, it is having very tight coupling. So if you wanted to make even a small change, then definitely you have to make changes in the software also, which is very costly. Apart from that, it suffers problem from concurrent accessing also, poor security policy is there. It is suffering from the issue of data redundancy and data inconsistency also. There is no specific data type. So to overcome all that problem, we have to talk about database, or you can say the database management system. Initially, if we are talking about the definition of database, then the database refer to collection of logically related data that allow easy access and manipulation. One more analogy that I have given you, if you remember. Did you remember the analogy? Like MS Word is a software that is used to create a Word document. Similarly, database management system is a software that is used to create database. Did you remember this thing? Hardly 2 or 3 scholars. Hardly 2 or 3 scholars. Well, let me come to the next point. Let me come to the next point. So database management system, multiple examples are there. MySQL is the database management system. Oracle is the database management system. MS SQL is the database management system. So on, so on. If we are talking about the advantages of database management system, then among the advantages, you can see control data access. Yes, you can create multiple different types of accounts, and you can assign different permissions to them. Apart from that, more secure. Yes, definitely. A database management system allow you to enforce customized security policy according to your own demand. Program data independence, and the program data independence says that if you are changing structure of the table, then it is not compulsory that you should change the structure of your program also, not required. Concurrent access, yes it is. Reduced data redundancy and inconsistency. Then we are talking about the disadvantages: high cost, definitely require better hardware, definitely need experts. So definitely salary is going to be very, very high. By mistake, I closed this file. After this thing, there was comparison between DBMS and RDBMS. But normal thing that I told you, that using the normal DBMS, you can communicate only with one table, or you can fetch data only from one table at a time. On the other hand, in case of RDBMS, you can fetch data from multiple tables together. This is the point that you have to remember. Then we were talking about some of the terminology. When I was talking to you about some of the terminology, then in the terminology, initially I was talking about the table trainee. And when I was talking about the table trainee, so one thing that I told you, database, collection of table such that every table is having a distinct name. Relation, in case of relation, definitely a table is called relation. It is not relationship, it is relation. I will update this. Attribute or field, it refer to column of the table. Tuple refer to record. Degree refer to number of columns. Cardinality refer to number of rows. And definitely domain refer to set of values or range of values allowed for the column. Regarding null, definitely it refer to missing value, absence of value, not applicable value. One example we have already taken. Right now, if I'm talking about the name of the relation, then can I say that name of the relation is trainee? Yes or no? Can I say that name of the relation is trainee? If I'm talking about the attributes, then can I say that trainee number, name, gender, marks, and age? This is somewhat you can call attributes of the relation. Yes, it is. If I'm talking about the T001 ABC dot dot dot, T002 dot dot dot, 300 dot dot dot, 4 dot dot dot, can I say that all these are tuples? Yes, it is. And if I'm talking about the degree of the table, then definitely degree of the table is 5, because total number of columns in the table is 5. Degree clear to everyone? Yes, it is. Similarly, if we are talking about the cardinality, then cardinality refer to number of rows. And definitely in the number of rows, please do not count column heading. Please do not count column heading. So if I'm talking about the total number of records, because total number of records are 4, so definitely cardinality of the relation is going to be 4. Clear? Yes, it is. Then we are talking about the domain, and definitely domain actually refer to what values are allowed for a column. So if we are talking about the domain for marks, then you can say, sir, any value from 0.0 to 100.00 is the domain. For the age, we can say that from 18-year-old to 27-year-old is what? Domain of the age, because a trainee is supposed to be under the age of 27. Similarly, if I'm talking about the gender, then for the gender, we can say that male and female, these are the two values that you can call domain. Getting my point all? Yes, it is. That's good. Then going to the next portion. So far, whatever we have done, once we have done the revision, and this is something that I have actually given you because it is not part of your evaluation. So having a quick revision will be good. The revision speed was slightly fast because it was revision. Now I am coming back to my normal speed. So see, the next topic is constraint. Constraint is a word that actually refer to limitation, that actually refer to restriction. It refer to limitation, or it actually refer to restriction or limitation, you can say. Why actually we are imposing limitation or restriction? Definitely for smooth functioning, can I say? If I'm taking example of the road light, then on the road light, let's say for example, you are on a crossroad. On the crossroad, for the smooth functioning, it is allowed that traffic should flow only from one direction at a time. Yes or no? And definitely if you allow traffic from all direction, then your system will be choked as well as accidents will be there. So what exactly is mechanism the road transport system has developed? There is a concept of lights. If there is a green signal available, then definitely only you are allowed to move. If there is red signal available, then you have to wait. If it is yellow signal, then better to stop your vehicle if you have not crossed the line. But if you have crossed the line, then better to go. Overall, the point is that make the road vacant for other vehicles. So this is one of the very basic example of the constraint. The same thing is kind of applicable in our homes also. Like in our houses, normally there is a de facto rule that kids are supposed to be at the home by 9:30 or 10 p.m. at the last, not after that. Normally this happens. So everything is there only for smooth functioning of the system to avoid undesirable consequences. Yes, it is. The same thing is applicable in your database management system also. If you are maintaining a database, then definitely the ultimate objective of maintaining a database is all about storing the information in an accurate manner such that information should be accessible to you very easily, and you should be able to modify the information quickly also. Now let me give you some situation. First situation, would you love to have a database in which multiple students can have same roll number? Never. Okay, let me give you second situation. Would you love to have a database in which a student, or you can say that in which a name can belong to only one student, means there cannot be multiple students with same name? Would you like this type of database? No. That's great. Similarly, would you love to have a database in which roll number can have null value? No, definitely nobody like this, because every student is supposed to must have the roll number. Similarly. So if you wanted to avoid such kind of meaningless things that ultimately lead to undesirable situation, then we have to study about the constraints in the database. So constraints are if constraints are applied properly, then definitely your data in the database is going to be very meaningful, and this is going to be a billion-dollar information. Now, if I'm talking about the types of constraints, so types of constraints are, the very first constraint is called not null. Second constraint is called primary key. Third is called unique key. Fourth is called default. And fifth is called foreign key. If I'm talking about the very first constraint, that is not null, I think name already specify. If a column is applied with not null, means you cannot insert null value in that. Yes or no? So can I say that if, let's say, I am having a table student, in the table student, if I'm talking about name column, then definitely it is reasonable to apply not null constraint on the name column. Yes or no? Yes, it is. Similarly, for example, let's say that if we are talking about our LMS portal, on the LMS portal, if I'm talking about, let's say, our lecture. So definitely, if I'm talking about the lecture link, then can I say that lecture link cannot be null? It must have a value. It must have a value. Null is not allowed. Yes, it is. So not null actually says that null value is not allowed. It is always applied at the column level. And definitely, if in a single table, you can apply not null constraint any number of times. You can apply not null constraint on any number of times. This is what actually not null constraint is, very basic. We will take example also, don't worry. Now I'm talking about the second type of constraint. Before talking about the second type of constraint, please take a look at the table. The name of the table, you can say employee. You can refer to actually any table, whether you are talking about the trainee table or you are talking about the employee table. Let us take example both. In the trainee table, if I'm talking about the trainee number, similarly into the employee table, if I'm talking about the employee ID, then can I say both columns are used to uniquely identify a record in their respective table? Yes, it is. Can I say trainee number is going to be unique for every trainee? Yes, it is. Can I say trainee number and employee ID cannot be null for any employee? Yes, it is. So I will say trainee number in the trainee table and employee ID in the employee table, both are serving as a primary key. Both are serving as a primary key. So according to this concept, can I say that primary key is used to uniquely identify a record in the table? Yes or no? True it is. Second number point. A primary key column. is going to have all the distinct values plus null value is not allowed. Second point clear? Perfect. Now let me come to third case. Let me come to third case. The third case is that in a single table, you can have only one primary key. Getting my point? Number of primary key in a single table is limited to one always. Means in a single table, you can have at most one primary key, yet you can create a table without primary key also. There is no offense in that. Getting my point? So always keep in mind. Always keep in mind. Constraints are not applied at the row level. Constraints are applied either at the column level or they are applied at the table level. Getting my point? So please do not talk about a particular row whenever I am talking about constraint. Here we have to talk about columns only. Here we have to talk about columns only. Okay. So this is the one situation regarding the primary key that we come across. Few pointers I told you. Primary key is used to uniquely identify a record in a table. First number point. A table can have at most one primary key. This is done. Yet it is possible to create a table with no primary key, already discussed. The primary key column cannot have duplicate value, perfect, nor null value is allowed. Means actually the primary key column cannot have duplicate value, nor null value is allowed. Now let me show you one more situation that is important to discuss. For example, everyone, if I'm talking about CBSE exam and I'm talking about session number 2022-2023, let's say I'm talking about examination of class 10th. This time, can I say that roll number can be used to uniquely identify a record or it can be used to uniquely identify a scholar? So can I say that roll number is a primary key? Perfectly okay to say? Okay. So this time, if I'm talking about single column roll number, then definitely single column roll number is primary key this time. Single roll number is primary key this time. Now let me extend the situation. While extending the situation, for example, if I'm talking about CBSE previous year records, and this time I'm talking about the previous year records from session 2017-18 to 2022-23. So this time practically I'm talking about 5 sessions, and you know it very well. CBSE can reuse the roll number for 2 different years. I think you already have this thing. Many of the mark sheet you have seen, roll number is 6 or 7 digit number. So definitely if there is 6, 7 digit number or 8 digit number is available, it is something that CBSE is reusing again and again. So this time, for example, let's say one of the scholar lost its mark sheet. Let's say one of the scholar lost its mark sheet. Now he is going to CBSE and my roll number is this, that please provide me mark sheet. Do you think this information is sufficient? Definitely not, because 5-year data is there. Roll number is reused multiple times. Roll number is reused multiple times. Now let's say this time if I'm talking about the roll number, then definitely roll number is not a primary key. But apart from that, if I'm talking about the roll number and apart from the roll number, let's say that if I'm talking about the session number, if I'm talking about the session number, then collectively this combination, can it work as a primary key? Yes or no? Yes, it is. So listen to me very, very carefully. When you are having, see, number of primary key is always one, no matter whether you are creating primary key on a single column only or you are creating primary key by combination of multiple column. But number of primary key is always one. This point clear? That number of primary key is always one, no matter whether the primary key is applied on a single column or it is applied collectively on multiple columns. Okay. Second thing, if I'm talking about the case, this one, in this case, the primary key is what actually called simple primary key, or you can call normal primary key. But on the other hand, this time, this kind of primary key is actually referred as composite primary key. So practically, number of primary key is always one, but your primary key can be a simple primary key or it can be a composite primary key also. Situation clear to everyone? Once again, I am summarizing. Some scholars are slightly facing difficulty. I was taking initially the example of simple primary key. For example, let's say if I'm talking about CBSE exam 2022-23. In the CBSE exam 2023 of class 10, using the roll number only, we can identify a scholar uniquely. Using roll number only, we can identify a scholar uniquely. There is nothing wrong. And definitely in this condition, because your single column is working as a primary key, so you can call it a simple primary key. On the other hand, I was talking about the second case. Into the second case, if I'm talking about the CBSE examination data for the consecutive 5 sessions. In case of the consecutive 5 session, definitely roll number alone cannot work as a primary key, because over the period of 5 years, the same roll number has been awarded to 5 different scholars. Situation clear to everyone? Why roll number is not a primary key in this case? Getting? But if I'm talking about the combination of roll number plus session number, then definitely the combination of roll number plus session number, it is going to uniquely identify a scholar. Yes, it is. So overall, the pointer is very, very simple. The combination of roll number and session number should be unique, yet roll number alone can be duplicated, session number alone can be duplicated, but the combination of roll number plus session number should be distinct, or you can say it should be unique. Now clear? Yes, it is. So this time, I will say that primary key is combination of roll number plus session number. And whenever your primary key is made from combination of more than one column, then this is called composite primary key. Getting my point? Clear to everyone? So same point is available here. The primary key can be made from a single column, or it can be made from combination of more than one column. If the primary key column has more than one column, then it is called composite primary key. Clear? Done? Done. Now let me come to another case. This time, if I'm talking about the table employee, if I'm talking about the table employee, then many of you will say that, sir, can we use email as a primary key also? Situation looks reasonable. Situation looks reasonable. Yes or no? Yes, it is. Okay. Now let me change the situation. For example, let's say that if I'm talking about the housekeeping staff, if I'm talking about particularly housekeeping staff, then definitely we cannot assume that every housekeeping staff is going to be very much digitally literate. Not everybody is going to have the smartphone. So in this condition, can we assume that they are going to have an email ID, or they will be able to operate the email ID? Definitely not. Definitely not. The same thing is applicable for the mobile number also. Yes, it is. It's reasonable nowadays that yes, everybody is having mobile number, but this is not exactly the case, because in many of the families, 2 mobile phones are available and 5 members used to share the mobile phone. This situation is still here. So first thing, if I'm using email ID as a primary key column, so first of all, not every employee is going to have the email ID. This is the first situation. So actually the thing is that the employees, those who are having email ID, can I say that their email ID is perfectly unique? Yes or no? Yes, it is. If an employee is having email ID, then definitely it is unique, but we cannot say that every employee is having the email ID. Getting this constraint? Now, can I use email as a primary key? 100% no. 100% no. Why no? Because if I'm talking about the housekeeping staff, for them, if there is no email ID available in this condition, can I say that for email ID, I have to assign null value? Yes or no? Yes, it is. And definitely, if you are going to assign null value, then it cannot be a primary key. Make sense? Yes, it is. And can I say that if the value is available, then it will be a distinct value? Yes, it is. Okay, that's good. So let me summarize the situation one again. The situation is that if value is available for the email ID column, then it will be unique. Situation number 2, not every employee is having the email ID. So definitely email ID column can have null value. In this condition, you cannot make email ID as a primary key. So to address this kind of condition, you have to talk about another constraint. That another constraint is called unique key constraint, or it is called unique constraint. Getting my point? Why it is not a primary key? Situation is clear for everyone? Okay, it is. So if I'm talking about the unique key, then what property exactly it offer to me? The first property that exactly it offer to me is if unique key column is applied on a column, if value is available, then value will be distinct. If value is not available, then you can insert null such that null can be inserted any number of times. Again repeating, if value is available, then it will be distinct. If value is not available, you can insert null such that null can be inserted any number of times. So getting how unique key is very much useful in the terms of database. Yes, it is. So everyone, the second type of constraint is actually called the unique key constraint. Now one more thing. In a single table, we can have exactly one primary key, or we can have maximum one primary key. But if I'm talking about the number of unique keys, then definitely number of unique keys can be any. Means you can create 2 column, 3 column, 4 column, 5 column, 6 column unique keys. You can create 2 unique keys, 4 unique keys, 7 unique keys. Any number of unique keys that you wanted to create, you can create. Similarly, like we are having concept of composite primary key, we are having concept of composite unique key also. Clear it is? That unique key is something that is slightly flexible. So let me come back to the discussion. If we are talking about the unique key, then definitely only unique values are allowed in the column. But null is also allowed such that null can be inserted any number of times. Second number point, a table can have any number of unique keys. Perfect. Third point, if unique constraint is applied on a single column, then it can be written as column level constraint. Otherwise, table level constraint. We will talk about this thing with example, don't worry. We will talk about this thing with example, don't worry. Okay, let me go to the next case. Let me go to the next case. So first of all, everybody, primary key, unique key, not null. All three concepts clear to you? Yes, it is. Null, I am not getting. Null. We will cover with example. Okay. So three things we have done. Not null is done, primary key is done, and unique key constraint is done. Now the fourth constraint is available, that is called default constraint. Fourth constraint is available, that is called default constraint. As the name already suggests, default constraint is used to specify default value for a column. It is used to define default value for a column. And because it is to define the default value of a column, so let me go for a situation. For example, let's say I am going to a school and I wanted to maintain database of student there. While maintaining the database of the student, I come to know that this is a school for girls only. If this is a school for girls only, then for the gender column, isn't it reasonable to specify female as default value? Yes, it is. And if you wanted to specify this thing, then you have to use the default constraint. Similarly, for example, let's say if we are talking about any fresher, let's say if date of birth is not available, in this condition, it is reasonable to assume default value 18-year-old. Yes or no? Because this is the minimum age that we used to keep for anyone. So this is what exactly your default constraint is. It is used to define the default value for the column such that default value will be inserted if user does not specify any value using the insert query. This is what actually default constraint is. After the default constraint, the final constraint is available foreign key. I will talk about the foreign key constraint with slight pause, not right now, but definitely we will discuss. So much theory is already covered. I don't think that anyone of you like much of the theory. Shall we go for example? Before discussing example, the very first thing is that see, right now we are not going to deal with STS. Now we are going to deal with database management system, such that the name of the database management system is MySQL. When we were dealing with STS, we were talking about Java. Now when we are talking about MySQL, then definitely to deal with the MySQL, we have to learn a language. The name of the language is called SQL, and full form of SQL is called Structured Query Language. Very simple analogy, like for you and me, or for the communication between the instructor and the scholar, we are using one common language, that is English. No matter what is my mother tongue, no matter what is your mother tongue, but we are using a common language that is called English. Similarly, whenever a programmer wanted to communicate with the database management system, then to communicate with the database management system, they have to learn SQL, that is called Structured Query Language. According to this concept, we can easily say that SQL is used to give instruction to database management system. What is the advantage of SQL? See, we are having multiple different database management systems. We have MySQL, we have Oracle, Postgre is available, Ingrid is available, Sybase available, etc., etc. The beauty of the SQL is that, first of all, it is American National Standard Institution standard, and they have designed SQL in such a manner that it is common across all different database management systems. So for example, let's say that I am teaching you MySQL, and company says that we are not working on the MySQL, we are working on the Oracle. So I will say no need to worry. SQL is kind of platform independent. The same SQL syntax that you have learned here, definitely they are going to work on the Oracle also, but minor 10% changes are possible. Yes, practical reality is that minor 10% changes are possible. But if you already know the 90%, then definitely coping up with the remaining 10% is not a challenge. Yes or no? When especially you are having access to internet also. If you know 90% of the sum part, then definitely remaining 10% you can do with your knowledge building. You can do with your searching on the Google, etc. also. One or two times you have written the query, then definitely you will be very much comfortable. Second thing about the SQL is that SQL is actually case insensitive language, and definitely you may use any case, whether it is capital letter, whether it is small letter. By convention, all keywords must be into the capital and query should be properly aligned. This is by convention. So isn't it opposite to Java programming? In the Java programming, even doing a small mistake is an offense. But in case of SQL, it says, okay, no problem. Whether you are writing into the capital letter or into the small letter, we will manage. So overall mantra is that so far we know what is database. Now we are going to discuss how to communicate with the database. And definitely to communicate with the database, we have to learn SQL. So from this discussion, what is the role of SQL? Is that clear? Respond everyone. I'm waiting for more responses. I'm waiting for more responses. The batch is required to be highly energetic. Yes, it is. Okay. Now see, the SQL is actually getting divided into broadly 5 categories. The first category of the statement is referred as the DDL, that is called data definition language. And what exactly this data definition language is? See, if you wanted to create a database, create a table in the database, modify the structure of the table, delete the table, and delete the database. Repeating my words again, creating database, creating table, changing the structure of the table, dropping the table, and dropping the database. In all these things, has I ever made any discussion about records? No, I did not made any discussion about record, but I am talking about the structure that is used to hold the records. So the statements that are used to deal with that structure, that are used to deal with the database and the table structure, they are referred as DDL statement. The example of the DDL statement is create, alter, drop, and truncate. We will take example, don't worry. We will take example, don't worry. The second type of statement is called DML statement, that is called data manipulation language statement. Table is created using DDL. If you wanted to insert a record in the table, you wanted to make changes in the record of the table, and you wanted to delete record from the table, then you have to go for the DML. So definition of DML is clear. It's all about insert, update, delete operation only. Simple logic. It is all about insert, update, and delete operation only. This is the only thing that you have to remember. Okay. Table is created using DDL. Data is inserted using DML. What if we wanted to read the data? If you wanted to read the data, then the third category of the statement is available. That is called DRL, or data retrieval language. So data retrieval language is all about fetching the data. Getting my point? It is all about fetching the data from the database. Simple logic. Fourth is available DCL, that is called data control language. It is something that is related to creating multiple different type of account on your database management system, and this is not part of your syllabus. Happy that DCL is not part of your syllabus? The fourth category is available. The fourth category is called TCL, that is called transaction control language, and transaction control language is part of your syllabus. Now slightly unhappy, but that's okay. So we will talk about example of each and everything a lot of time. Don't worry. Overall, what is the transaction, etc. Everything I will talk to you. Don't worry. Everything we will discuss. Okay. Now we are almost on the track of creating a table. See, simple logic. Can I say that a table is actually a combination of rows and columns? Simple common definition. And if I'm talking about the rows, then definitely rows are used to store the data. Can I say this thing? Yes, it is. And if rows are used to store the data, then definitely practically actually every single information is stored under a column heading. Can I say this thing? Every single information is stored under a column heading. Can I say this thing? Yes, it is. So definitely whenever we are defining a column, so at the time of defining the column, we have to specify type of information also. It is going to be integer, float, double, character, varchar, etc., etc. Yes or no? Yes, it is. So we are at the verge of creating the table, but before that, it will be good to discuss about data type of the column. Data types are broadly getting divided into the three categories. The first category is for the numerical type, second category is for the character type, and the third category is available, that is for date and time type. The third category is for the date and time type. Now just listen. First of all, if I'm talking about the numerical type, so let me give you a very, very simple analogy. Into the very simple analogy, I think you all have already listened about. In Java programming, have you listened about the byte data type? Yes, it is. One byte having the range from -128 to +127. So same is available here in the form of tiny int. Same. In Java programming, you have come across about the short data type, size 2 byte, range from -32768 plus 32767. Same thing is available with the name small int. Medium int, actually the size of medium int is 3 bytes, and unfortunately there is no Java equivalent. There is no Java equivalent. If I'm talking about normal int data type in Java, then definitely the normal int data type is what your int or integer in MySQL is. See, if you take a look at the range very closely, then definitely by taking a look at the range of integer, I'm writing the range. See, how many digits are there? Please check. How many digits are there in the highlighted portion? 10. The same thing is applicable for MySQL. Maximum size of integer that you can specify in MySQL is 11. Why 11? 10 is for the digit and 1 is for the sign. Getting my point? If you are finding integer bracket 11, 11 is the size where actually one size is for the sign and remaining 10 is available for the integer. Is that okay? How this is working? Yes, it is. That's good. If I'm talking about the big int, then equivalent to big int is long. Float and double is available as it is, no problem. But if I'm talking about the decimal, that decimal is a kind of additional data type for decimal, double, float and double. But whenever you are specifying float, double, decimal, then there is one change. If I'm talking about the float and double, then definitely float and double can be specified without size. They can be specified without size. But on the other hand, if I'm talking about the double data type, then decimal data type, then for decimal, size has to be specified. What is the mean of this? What is the mean of this? Just try to understand. For example, let's say if I'm talking about the value of percentage, then can I say that for value of percentage, the minimum value is going to be 0.0 and the maximum value is going to be 100.0. Yes or no? Yes, it is. This time, one simple thing that I'm asking you. If I'm talking about the total number of digits required, then can I say for the maximum value, total number of digits required are 5? Yes or no? Everyone getting or not? For the percentage column, I can store the value from 0.0 to 100.00. So simple thing I am saying that if I wanted to store the maximum value, then total digit required are 5. Yes or no? Yes, it is. And if total digit required are 5. Total digits required are 5. And if I'm talking about the decimal places, then can I say that total decimal places are going to be 2? Yes, it is. So whenever you wanted to specify the size, so take a look very carefully. You need to write down here decimal. And after writing decimal, the first parameter is for the total digit and the second parameter is for the decimal places. Getting my point? How to write down the size? This is clear. This is something that is called precision. And the decimal place is something that is called scale. This is called scale. Now let me come to one more example. Let me come to one more example. The one more example is that, for example, let's say if I'm talking about pH value of a substance, and definitely regarding the pH value, you know it very well that the minimum value is going to be 0.0 and maximum value is going to be 14.0. So please tell me how many total digits are required. Please tell me in this case, how many total digits are required or what is the value of precision? Then definitely the value of precision is going to be 3. Okay. How many digits I wanted to store after decimal places or what is the value of scale? Then definitely the value of scale that you need to write down is 1. So in this condition, if I'm talking about the size, then definitely the size is going to be 3, 1. My point. How to mention the size? That's great. So this is actually what something called scale and precision. 3 is for total number of digits. And whenever you are counting total number of digits, please do not count decimal points. Whenever you are writing total digits, then definitely please do not count decimal point itself. Okay. So this is how exactly you need to mention the size. If I'm talking about the float and double, then definitely nature is again same. In the Java programming, if I'm comparing float and double, then can I say that double is more accurate? Yes, it is. Can I say that float require less memory? Can I say that float is capable to store up to 6, 7 decimal places, but double is capable to store up to 15, 16 decimal places? Yes, it is. So same thing is applicable here also. If you wanted to store very accurate information, then go for the double data type. If you can manage with slightly less accuracy, go for the float data type. If you wanted to specify exact decimal places, then go with the decimal data type. Now clear? And there is one more facility available. Like you are mentioning the size for decimal data type. Similarly, you can mention the size for float and double also. Java MySQL is giving you this facility also, that if you wanted to use float and double data type with a specific size, then you can mention also, no problem in that. Is that clear, everyone? Regarding the data type, but yes, in case of float and double, mentioning the size is not mandatory. In case of decimal, you have to mention the size. Okay. So this thing is done. Now I'm talking about the next category of the data type. In the next category of the data type, initially or normally the questions are asked from the char and varchar. Normally the questions are asked from the char and varchar. See, if I'm talking about the char and varchar data type, then let me take a very simple example. For example, let's say that I wanted to store pen, that is called permanent account number. If I wanted to store the permanent account number of a person, then the permanent account number is having five alphabetic characters. Then it is having four numerical characters, and then it is having one again alphabetic character. 10 digit it is. I have cross checked mine. It is total require 10 character. I don't know if modern version is having 11, but the previous is having 10 character. So let's say I wanted to store PAN number for all the 66 scholars of this batch. Then definitely you will say that, sir, all the 66 scholars of this batch are having the PAN number, and definitely PAN number for everyone is required 10 character storage. Yes or no? Yes, it is. Okay. On the other hand, let me take the next example. If I wanted to store name of all the 66 character, can I assume that name of every scholar is of 10 character? Definitely no. Some names are of 5 characters, some are of 7 characters, some are of 13 character, some are of maybe 9 character. So for CAD data type, or you can say that for the PAN number, definitely the best choice is going to be CAD data type. For the name, the best choice is going to be varchar data type. And here I think you are able to sense whenever I am talking about the fixed length character sequence, then for the fixed length character sequence, it is good to go with character data type. Getting my point? Yes, it is good for fixed length character sequence. But on the other hand, if I'm talking about the varchar, then definitely it is good for variable length character sequence. It is good for variable length character sequence. Now let me talk about some more pointers. For example, if I'm talking about the maximum size, then here the maximum size is 255. Yes, maximum size is 255. But in case of varchar, if I'm talking about the maximum size, then the maximum size is 65,535. And definitely, if character is always for the fixed length, then can I say that its processing is going to be fast? But in case of varchar, the processing is going to be slow. Make sense? Because if something is already of fixed size, then definitely it is going to be faster to process. But on the other hand, if something is of variable size, then definitely it is going to be difficult to process. Yes or no? Yes, it is. Now let me tell you one thing. So the thing is that for every character, 1 byte of memory is required. For every character, 1 byte of memory is required. Now let me take the case. Now let me take the case. Example Gracia. Example Gracia. Say we have a column with data type char, and let's say size I am writing 7 with following values. The first value that I'm writing is, let's say it's some name Nayan. The next value I am writing is some name Jayant. Then I'm writing some name, for example, let's say it is Fazan. Then I'm writing one more name, for example, let's say it is only Jay. 4 names I'm writing. So what is going to take place into the memory? How much memory, how many bytes of memory I am occupying? 7. But if I'm talking about the value 9, how many memory is occupied? 5. What about the remaining 2? Remaining 2 will be padded with space. Remaining 2 character memory will be padded with space. Getting my point? Space, simple space. Similarly, if you are writing the next value, that is Jayant, then in case of Jayant, if I'm talking about the remaining 1 character memory, then definitely remaining 1 character memory will be filled with the space. Similarly, if I'm talking about Faizan, then in case of Faizan, again remaining 1 character of memory will be padded with space. On the other hand, if I'm talking about Jay, then in case of Jay, remaining 4 characters of the memory will be padded with space. So can I say there is wastage of memory if you are not utilizing all the memory locations? Yes, it is. But what is the thing? If you already know the length and if you want speed, then definitely char is the better data type. Make sense? If you already know the length and you want speed, then definitely char is a better data type. There is nothing wrong in this. Okay. On the other hand, now let me change the situation here. While changing the situation here, for example, let's say we have a column with data type, say I am writing it as var and let's say that size I am writing is 10. When I'm writing the size 10, then I'm writing multiple values, again name, Nayan, Jayant, Faizan, Jay, etc. When I'm writing Nayan, how many bytes of memory is occupied? 5 characters memory for content. Getting my point? It is going to occupy 5 character memory for content. So is it space efficient? Is it space efficient? Practical answer is yes. Practical answer is yes, but exactly it is not going to occupy only 5 character of memory, but it is going to occupy some space to store total length of total number of characters in the value. Total number of characters in the value. Characters in the value. Is that okay, everybody? 5 character memory for content plus some space to store total number of characters in the value. Is that okay? How exactly it is occupying some additional, so some overhead is there, but overall, for example, let's say if you wanted to store the email ID, then for the email ID it is reasonable to provide the size some 20, yes or no, 20 or 25 characters. But what if someone's email ID is only finished in the 7 characters? So in this condition, varchar is better, because in char sequence entire memory is going to get wasted. So overall, whenever you don't know what is the length of the content, then go for the varchar. But if you are aware that what is the length of the content and all the values are going to be of the same length, then go for the char data type. Is that okay? How to make decision? So this is what difference between the char and the varchar data type is. So copy and again copy. For Faizan, again, it is going to be 6 character. For Jay, it is going to be only total of 3 characters. Okay. Now last case, it is all about the text. What if you wanted to store information whose length is more than 65,535 characters? If the length is more than this, then go for the text data type. Getting my point? Okay, everybody. For example, adding the entire chapter, adding something like describe about yourself in 2 pages, writing the essay, then go for the text data type, copying notes, plagiarism, then text data type is something that is very much required. Okay, so 2 things we have done. 2 things are done. And see, whenever you are writing the char and varchar data type, then definitely it is mandatory to specify the size. For the char and varchar data type, it is necessary to specify the size also. You cannot create char varchar without any size. There is no default value. Default value is available for integer. Default value is available for float and double. That's all. Finally, if I'm talking about the data type, then definitely there is one data type available called date data type, and another data type is also that is called date and time data type. So see, first data type is date. If I'm talking about the format, then definitely format is going to be YMD. Similarly, if I'm talking about the next data type, that is date time. In case of date time, the format is going to be YMD, H, M, and S. And definitely in case of date and date time, there is no logic of specifying the data type. Make sense? Clear? So this is what actually we have done for the data type. And after talking about the data type, then finally, welcome to the queries. Welcome to the queries. One by one, step by step. First, I'm opening the CMD. Oh, sorry. First of all, From the search, I'm looking for MySQL command line client. Please check if it is available in your system also. I hope it is available if you have gone through the pre-class of Friday and done the installation. You are opening the MySQL command line client. Initially, it is asking for the password that you have set it at the time of installation. That password you have to type. Yet I guided you. You should keep the username, password, root and root, because this is something most common combination, and press enter, login. Once you have done with the login, then definitely half part is once. Now you are ready to work on MySQL. One by one, going through the queries. If you wanted to see the list of existing databases, then to see the list of existing databases, the query is show databases. The query is show databases, hitting semicolon. Can you see that right now I'm having 14 database, but if you are doing the same query on your side, then you will find might be there are 4-5 databases are available there. Among the 4-5 database, one of the database you will find is information schema, one you will find is performance schema, one you will find is MySQL, and maybe one you can find is test database. These are something that is available. SYS is available, that's okay. So do not touch these databases. The 4 default databases that are created by MySQL itself, it is used by MySQL internally. Please, 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 please do not try to touch them. Now, if you wanted to create your own database, then to create your own database, you need to write down create database name. You need to write down create database name. So we have to write down create, then database. What is the name of the database? For example, let's say I'm writing the name of the database, that is SB101 underscore block 25. SB101 block 25, hitting enter, hitting enter. After hitting enter, again when I'm writing show database, see, you can use up arrow key and down arrow key. You can use up arrow key and down arrow key to go through the previous commands. Earlier in the show databases, I was having 14 databases. Now I am having total 15 databases. And you can see that database name SB101 block 25 is available here. Clear everybody? How to show database and how to create a new database. Yes, it is. Now next thing, for example, I wanted to create a table. So right now when 15 databases are available and I wanted to create a table, so first I have to select the database in which I wanted to create a table. Yes. And for this thing, to select a particular database or to enter into a database, the command is available. The name of the command is called use db name. After use, you need to write down the database name. So right now database name is already available to us. And before this thing, we have to write down the thing that is called use this one. Is that okay? I'm getting the message database changed. I'm getting the message database changed. So now whatever query I'm going to write down, that query will be executed in the SB101 block 25 database. It will be executed in SB101 block 25 database. Now take a look at point. If you wanted to create a table, then to create a table, the syntax is available. Create table syntax. Create table. Then you need to mention table name. After table name, we need to mention the column name, then data type, then size, then constraint. The first sequence or the first highlighted sequences available only for one column. If you wanted to specify 10 columns, then the same sequence you have to repeat for 10 times. Finally, parenthesis close, semicolon, you are done. Getting my point? Yes or no? Create table, table name, bracket open, detail about the first column, comma, detail about the second column, comma, detail about the third column, and so on. Finally, bracket close, semicolon, you are done. One scholar is asking what if we are having 10 columns? I think you can try for 10,000 columns. There is no problem. If any failure, then do let me know. I will provide you solution. Coming back. See here, for date type, size is not applicable. For date type, size is not applicable. Already discussed. For int, float and double, size is optional. Already discussed. For char and varchar, size is compulsory. For decimal also, size is compulsory. Constraints are not compulsory, means it is not compulsory that every column should have a constraint. You can create a column without constraint also, but column name and data type is something that is mandatory. Column name and data type is something that is mandatory. If I'm talking about the table naming convention and model name and column naming convention, then conventions are same. Like in table name, you cannot provide a space. Underscore is the only special symbol that is allowed. Table name cannot be started with some numerical, etc., etc. Same conventions are there. For the column name, again the same convention exists. So whatever naming that you are using in Java, the same naming convention you have to use in MySQL also. Getting my point? Same rules, no difference. Same rules. Okay, so shall we try to create a table? Shall we try to create a table? Okay, that's good. So there is a sheet available for you. I'm having a list of unsolved queries. And in this sheet, you will find that every concept is covered clearly. And the sheet along with the solution will also be provided to you. Don't worry. Okay. First of all, write query to see the list of databases. Already done? Yes or no? Write query to create a database with the name sb underscore 101 block 25. Already done? Yes. Write query to use the database SB101 block 25. Already done? Yes. Next thing, write query to create a table student with following structure. In the structure, you can see first column is roll number, data type is integer, size is 8, description is primary key. Second is name, data type is varchar, description is not null. Third column is email, fourth column is 10th percentage, fifth column is state. Can you see that out of the 5 column, the first 4 columns are having some constraint, but the 5th column is declared without constraint? Yes or no? Okay. So what is the query going to be? So if I'm talking about the query, then definitely you can see or you can take a look at the syntax. The very first thing that we have to mention is create table, and then we have to mention name of the table. So I am writing here create table. Let's say that the name of the table I am writing is student. Name of the table that I'm writing is student. First column name, it is roll number. Then we have to mention data type. After mentioning the data type, then we have to talk about the primary key. Then next column, after comma, I'm talking about the next column. Into the next column, we are writing here name. Then data type that we are writing is varchar20. And definitely then the thing is called not null. Into the third case, then we are writing email varchar20 unique. Third thing that we are writing is email varchar20 unique. Fourth we are writing is C, 10th percentage. Size is same, double 5, 2. Default is there, but whenever you are writing the default value, then the corresponding default value must be within the parenthesis. This is the only change. The next is available, that is called state. So for the state, the data type that I'm writing is varchar25. Your query is completed. Copying this query, coming to MySQL, right click, hitting enter, query, OK. 0 rows affected. 0 rows affected. Create table query is clear to everyone? How this is working? Yes, it is. Create table clear to everyone? That's great. If you wanted to see list of tables that is available into your database, list of tables available into your database, then to see the list of tables available into your database, the query is available that is called show tables query. The query is available that is called show tables query. So right now, show tables, hitting enter, you can say that tables in SB101 block number 25, it is student. Is that okay? How to see the list of tables? Is that clear? How to see the list of tables? What happened, batch? Today I'm writing simple English. At least respond. That's good. That's good. Then going to the next portion. Going to the next portion. If you wanted to see actually structure of the table, then to see structure of the table, there is next query available. The name of the next query is called describe query, or it is also represented as DESC query. Both are same. If you are writing describe space table name, or if you are writing DESC space table name, both are okay. Both are okay. So for example, let's say here I am writing DESC. What is the name of table? Student, hitting enter. Can you see everybody? The same thing, roll number, data type integer, primary key it is, name, varchar 20, null is not allowed, email, varchar 20, null is allowed, but it is unique. 10th percentage, double 5,2, default value is 33.0. For the last column state, size is varchar 25 with data type, and null is also allowed. Is that clear? How to see the description of the table, or how to see the structure of the table? You are writing DESC, then it is okay. Apart from that, if you are writing describe word complete, then this is also okay. Nobody is going to stop you. It is also going to work 100% fine. This is going to work 100% fine. Into the extra column, whatever extra remark is there, it is available. It is available. So this is one part that is done. Now going to the next section. Now going to the next section. One scholar is asking how to write field data type. Already mentioned in create table. Just a minute, everyone. Okay, coming back to discussion. So once let me summarize whatever part we have done so far. To see list of all databases, create database, use the database, create table. After creating table, see the list of tables, and after seeing the list of tables, then definitely how to see the structure of the table. I hope this is clear to everyone. All the 5-6 queries clear? Yes, it is. That's good. Now listen one thing. Many of the scholars are getting confused here. Many of the scholars are getting confused here. That's a default value is null, but null is not allowed. What is the mean of this? So listen the rule. According to every database, if you do not specify default value for a column, then by default, the default value is null always. First point clear? First point clear? If you do not specify any default value for a column, then default value for every column by default is null. This is the point number one. So you can see that only for 10th percentage, I have specified the value 33.0. So 33.0 is the default value. For remaining all the columns, the default value is null. But if you have applied the primary key constraint, if you have applied the not null constraint, then null value is not allowed to be inserted. Now clear? That constraint is having priority over default value. Now makes sense? Constraint is having priority over default value. Okay, so show tables is there, describe table name is there. So far table creation is done. Let me talk about some more cases, and you can go through this structure. Everything is available here. Okay. Actually, this is unsolved sheet. I was writing answers only just for your convenience, but this is unsolved sheet. Take a look at the next query. We have written the query to see the structure of the table. That is perfect. That is perfect. But everyone, one thing that is to be, what happened? MySQL, 1 second. Now better. Now everyone, you can see in case of roll number, null value is not allowed. Yes. It is a primary key, so duplicate value is also not allowed. Yes. Shall we verify this? Shall we once verify this, that if the constraints are working properly or not? It will be a good thing. Okay, to verify this thing, we can actually try to insert some records. Like if I'm talking about the very first record that is available in line number 20, into the line number 20 and into the line number 21, both bullet points highlighted. The roll number is having value 1, integer, perfect. Name is having value ABC, perfect. Email ID is abc@ms.com. 10% is 75.42 and state is Karnataka. Shall I write down once insert query for this? Because I wanted to insert record. To insert the record, I have to write down the insert query. Insert query we will discuss in so much detail. Insert query we will discuss in so much detail, don't worry. But right now, just for the sake of verification, I am writing the insert query here. How to write down the insert query? First of all, insert into. Then we have to mention table name. What is the name of the table? It is student. Then we have to mention list of columns. Into the list of columns, the very first thing that we are having is the roll number. Second thing that we are having is the name. Third thing that we are having is the email. Fourth value I will write down for the column 10th percentage. And fifth value I will write down for the column state. Column list is mentioned. Then I have to write down the keyword values. After writing the keyword values, then this entire sequence I am copying as it is. This entire sequence I am copying as it is. For roll number, value is 1. For name, value is ABC. For email, value is abc@abc.com. For 10%, it is 75.42. And for state, it is Karnataka. One more point that I wanted to mention you. If the value is numerical value, then you may put numerical value within the single quotation, double quotation, or without quotation. But if it is a string value, then you must have to write down the value either into the single quotation or into the double quotation. Getting my point? Pointer clear? This rule can be very simplified also. How to simplify these rules? The simplified rule is that all values must be within the single quotation or double quotation. But for numerical type, this rule is not applicable. Is it easy to remember? All the values of the insert query must be within the single quotation or double quotation. But for numerical type, this rule does not hold. Okay? This is something easier to remember. So first query is written there. Similarly, can I write down one more query? Yes, I can write down one more query. But while writing the second query, can you see this is talking about the default value? So better not to mention value for 10th percentage. It should automatically take the value 33.0. Yes or no? Everyone, please be responsive on the chat. MySQL is easiest topic. Still you people are lazy. What happened? Now listen. Because see, what is the target? The target of writing the insert query is not to show you the insert query or not to tell you how insert query is working. The target is only to verify whether all the constraints are properly applied or not. First target is clear? Yes, it is. So when I am actually taking the second query, in the second query, when I am inserting, I can see the value 33.0. So 33.0 is already the default value. So if I'm writing query in such a manner that I am not going to specify value for 10th percentage, still if it is getting value 33.0 means default constraint is working okay. Can I say this thing? And this is the same thing that I want to do. Yes or no? Do not deep dive into insert query. You will get a chance to learn insert query in the detail. Right now, please focus on the constraint. When some topic A is being taught to you, do not talk about topic B and C. We will come to topic B also. We will come to topic C also. Don't worry. So when I'm writing the second query, insert into a student, roll number is there, name is there, email is there. This time I'm not providing the value for the 10th percentage. When I'm not providing the value for the 10th percentage, so you can see that I'm taking entire data as it is. And after taking the entire data as it is, I am not mentioning the value 33.0. Let me run the query, copy, coming here, copy, coming here, right click, hitting enter. Query okay, one row, insert it. Second query copied, coming here, right click, hitting enter, query OK. Second record is also inserted. Now it will be good to view the records of the table, and to view the records of the table, just one query you have to remember as of now. The query is select star from student. Select star from student is the query that you need to write down. So please check second record, fourth column. Default constraint is working properly. Second record, fourth column. Please check if the default constraint is working properly. Yes, it is. That's great. Now listen. So default constraint is something that is already verified. If I'm talking about the primary key, then for the primary key, duplicate value is not allowed. Yes or no? If duplicate value is not allowed, then in this condition, if I try to insert this record, then I should get an error. Yes or no? Line number 37. If I try to insert this record, line number 37, then definitely I must have an error. Let us try copying the insert query syntax. After copying the insert query syntax, then I am taking this copy, paste. For roll number value is 1, name is BCD, email is bcd@ms.com, percentage is 84.5.24, and state is Tamil Nadu. Query is copied, coming here, right click, hitting enter. Please take a look at the error message. Error message clear? Duplicate entry 1 for the key student.primary. So can we say that primary key constraint is working perfect? This is the same definition that we come across. In case of primary key, duplicate value is not allowed. Null value is also not allowed. Null value is also not allowed. You can try null value. If you try to insert in the primary key, again, you will get an error. Okay. If I'm talking about the second column name, on the second column name, we have specified not null constraint. So according to this principle, if I try to insert this record, shall I get an error? 38 number. If I try to insert this record, shall I get an error? Yes, it is. Because null value is not allowed. So copy, coming here, right click, hitting enter. Please take a look at the error message. Column name cannot be null. Is that okay? Null is not allowed for the column name. That's good. Now, if I'm talking about the third column, that is the email column, email is unique. What is the mean of unique? If value is there, then value must be distinct. If value is not there, then you can insert null. Remember? So right now, if I'm talking about the two records, then email ID is abc@ms.com. And can you see into the line number 39? We try to insert the record whose email ID is same as something that is already existing. And it must be an error. Yes or no? See, just listen carefully. To copy the notepad, the syntax is Control C. To paste on the MySQL, once click on the MySQL so that focus is here, and then just press the right click. This is the shortcut of pasting. Please take a look at the error message. Please take a look at the error message. So constraints are real. They are working properly. Yes or no? Now I hope constraints are clear to you. What is the use of them, why they are using, or limitations, etc., etc. Clear it is with example. That's good. That's good. So let me press the Control Z because lot of queries I have written. This is unsolved sheet, but don't worry. Solution will be also uploaded on today's lecture. Don't worry. Okay, 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 okay. Many of you are feeling tired, heated, etc., etc. It's time for your favorite part of the lecture, that is break. Please enjoy for 5 minutes. Can I continue after break? Okay. So all the constraints are verified. Now listen, once a table structure is created, then definitely database is used to store information. Right now, let's say that we are maintaining some 5 or 6 information about a scholar, and whatever 5 or 6 information that we are maintaining, we can see the list here. We are having roll number, name, email, 10th percentage, and state. Now suddenly there is a notice appear that every scholar, every school or every institution has to maintain other detail of the scholar also. So here we are having a demand to add one more column. Yes or no? Yes, it is. That's good. Right now, actually, if I'm talking about for the email ID column, if I'm talking about the size, right now the size is varchar 20. For example, let's say if some person arrives whose mail ID is of 22 character. If the mail ID is of 22 characters, so definitely I have to modify or I have to extend the size of varchar data type also for email column. Yes or no? Yes, it is. So definitely once the table structure is created, you cannot assume that it is going to be perfect or it is going to be same over a period of time. The database table structure is going to be changed. Size, data, columns are added, columns are removed, etc., etc. So in this condition, definitely you must know that how to alter the structure of the table. Make sense? Yes, it is. And if you wanted to learn the same thing, then definitely to learn the same thing, we have to talk about the alter statements. We have to talk about alter statements. Let me talk about some alter statements. So if you wanted to add a new column, then to add a new column, the syntax is alter table, table name. See, this clause is what we are going to use for a very long time. This clause we are going to use for next 8 to 10 queries at least. Alter table, table name. This is fixed part. Thereafter, because I wanted to add a new column, then to add a new column, I have to use add keyword. And after the add keyword, can you see this is the same detail about a column that we have mentioned in the create table? Column name, data type, size, constraint. This is the same detail that I have mentioned in the create table also. Same or not? Yes, it is. So if you wanted to add a new column, then it's very easy. Then it's very, very easy. You just need to write down alter table, table name, then add, and then definitely column details are as it is what you wanted to add. Second number thing, if you wanted to modify the record of the table, if you wanted to, let's say, change the data type, then definitely to change the data type, what you need to do, alter table, table name is same. Instead of add, this time you need to use modify, and after modify again, the same sequence is getting repeated. Yes or no? Can you observe? So most of the part of the syntax is same. If you wanted to add a new column, then definitely to add a new column, you have to use add keyword. To update the column, you have to use the modify keyword. Both queries clear? Yes, it is. If you wanted to change the name of the column, then alter table, table name is same, but this time you have to use change. This time you have to use change. Alter table, table name, change, old name, then definitely new name, then data type, and then constraint name. Again, same syntax is what we have to follow. If you wanted to drop a column, then to drop a column, alter table, table name. Drop keyword is what you need to use. After drop keyword, you just have to mention column name only. You just have to mention column name only. Shall we take example? It will be good. Drop means forget the table. It is bye-bye permanently. Okay. So I'm going to take example. The first thing is that line number 31. Look at the line number 30. Write query to add new column DOB with data type date. Write query to add new column DOB with data type date. So here can you see that I have to use alter table. What is the name of the table? It is student. What I wanted to do, I wanted to add. What is the name of the column? It is DOB. What is the data type? The data type is date. Any constraint? No. Done. Is that okay? Oops, spelling mistake. Is that okay? Query is clear? Yes, it is. Then write query to see the structure of the table. So let me try this. Copy. Then coming here. Copy. Coming here. Right click, hitting enter. Then definitely to see the structure of the table, DESC student. Can you see last time I was having 5 records or 5 columns, but now I am having 6 columns? Yes or no? Okay. Then going to next part, write query to. The next part is write query to change the size of email ID to 50 from 20. So for this case, again, I need to write down the same clause C. Alter table student. This is something 100% same. This time I have to use the next clause that is called modify clause. What is the name of the column? The name of the column is modify. Then we are writing here varchar. After varchar, then we need to mention the size that is going to be 50. Semicolon, done. Semicolon, done. Copy, right click. It is email. It is email. Only email, not email ID. It is only email, not email ID. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Copy, right click, hitting enter. Thereafter, again, describe query. So can you see the size? Last time it was 20. Now it is updated to 50. Clear it is. Then write a query to change the name of column from DOB to birth date. If you wanted to change, then definitely alter table student is as it is. After alter table student, then definitely we have to write down change. First, we have to mention old name. After old name, then we have to mention new name. After new name, whatever be your data type, and then constraint if any. So coming here and copy, coming, right click, hitting enter. After hitting enter, describe student. Can you see last time it was DOB and now it has been changed to birth date? Clear it is? Perfect. That's great. Then write query to change the table name from student to ST. This is something that we have not discussed so far. Let me come back. If you wanted to rename the table, then definitely you can rename the table column also. And yeah, this one. Can you see the query? Alter table name, rename to new name. Highlighted query, please take a look. Alter table, existing table name, rename to new table name. So what is the query? The query is write query to change the table name student to ST. In this condition, we have to write down that is alter table student. Then we have to do rename to what new name we wanted to provide? We wanted to provide the new name that is ST. Copy, coming here, hitting enter. Query OK. And let's say if I'm writing show tables semicolon, can you see that the previous table whose name student was is now with a new name ST? Yes or no? Clear or not? Hardly 1 or 2 scholars are replying. What happened? This is plain English. Good. Then next part. Write query to drop column birth date from the table ST. So very simple. This time, this time, this time. Alter table student or ST? Alter table student or ST? Yes, it is ST. Alter table, table name, drop. Then we have to mention column name. Alter table, table name, drop, column name. So right click, hitting enter, query is dropped. If I am writing the query DESC ST, can you see? Again, I'm having 5 number of columns. Earlier I was having 6, but now I'm having 5 number of columns. So far, how to add a new column, how to modify the existing column, how to change the column name, how to drop a column, and how to rename a table. All the 5 pointers clear? Simple one, very simple. Now let us come to play with constraints. So far we are playing with the columns, table name. Now we are going to play with the constraint. What is the meaning of playing with constraint? Applying a constraint, removing a constraint. For example, right now, if I'm saying that roll number is available there, roll number is primary key, and I am asking you that you wanted to drop the constraint primary key from the roll number. This time I'm not saying you that you should drop the roll number column, but I'm saying that you should drop the primary key constraint from the roll number. Getting my point? Similarly, if I'm saying you that drop the unique key constraint from the email, so do not drop the column, just drop the constraint. You should allow name to have null value. So you have to drop the not null constraint. This is what I wanted to say you. So let us play with the primary key, etc. case. If you wanted to add a primary key, then definitely. To add a primary key, the syntax is alter table name, add primary key. Then you have to mention the column name on which you wanted to apply primary key. If you wanted to apply primary key on more than one column, then definitely here you have to specify comma separated list of columns. Here you have to specify comma separated list of columns. This is to apply the constraint. If you wanted to apply the not null constraint, then to apply the not null constraint, the good thing is that there is no new query. Just you have to use the modify query. But at the end of the modify query, you have to add not null. Please check. Please check. To apply the not null, no new query. You have to use alter table with modify clause. But at the end, at the place of constraint name, you have to write down not null. Is that okay? The same thing is applicable when we are talking about unique key constraint. Please check. The same thing is applicable when we are talking about unique key. Clear it is? If you wanted to apply default constraint, then see this time syntax is different. This time syntax is different. Can you see in case of default, alter keyword is used for 2 times? This is the first query where you can see that alter keyword is used for the first time. The query is alter table name, alter column name, set default, then whatever value you wanted to set. Whatever value you wanted to set. Similarly, everyone, if you wanted to drop the primary key, then you can drop the primary key also, etc. etc. It will be good to take one example and whatever extra we are having. Can you see the syntax to drop the primary key? Highlighted one. Can you see the syntax to drop the primary key? Alter table name, drop primary key, that's all. If you wanted to drop the not null, then you can see that if you wanted to apply not null, if you wanted to drop the not null, query is same. To apply the not null, you have to write down not null, and to drop the not null, you just have to write down null. Please check. Let me write down both queries on the chat so you can compare. Let me write down both queries on chat so you can compare. Look at the chat message. Look at the chat message provided by me. Can you see both queries are 100% same? Just one change, word not. If you wanted to drop, then just write down null. If you wanted to apply, then write down not null. Then write down not null. Simple concept. If you wanted to drop the unique key, then to drop the unique key, there is slightly different. It is alter table name, drop, index, and then you have to mention constraint name. Alter table name, drop index, then you have to mention constraint name. And how to see the constraint name? This is available. Better to take one example. Okay. Take a look at the query. This is something that is done. Let me press Control Z. It is unsolved sheet. Let me press Control Z. It is unsolved sheet. There is no logic of writing any solution. The query is write query to drop primary key. So if I wanted to drop the primary key, then the syntax is alter table name, drop primary key. Clear, everyone? First query. Second query, write query to drop not null constraint from column name. So again, I have to write down alter table st. Then we have to mention modify. The column that I wanted to modify is name. The data type that I wanted to modify is the data type is varchar20 because I wanted to drop not null. So this time I have to write null only. Write a query to drop unique constraint from the table name. I will talk about the two things slightly later, but first query and the second query. Both queries are available on chat. Please check against the format. Please check against the format. Is that okay? Satisfied everyone? Yes. So directly copying this code, coming to MySQL, right click, hitting enter. After hitting enter, describe st. Please compare from both the describe result if the primary key is dropped or not. Please compare from the both describe result and then tell me if the primary key is dropped or not. Please update your response. Column is not dropped. Only primary key constraint is dropped. Getting those who are getting confused. Column is not dropped. Only primary key constraint from the roll number column is dropped. Means now roll number is allowed to have null value. Now roll number can have duplicate value also. Is that okay? What is the mean of dropping the constraint is? Shall I proceed further? If everything okay? If any doubt, please write on the chat. If no doubt, then press 1 or type 1, please. If no doubt, then type 1, please. That's good. That's good. That's good. So primary constraint is dropped. Now again, let me copy this query. After copying this query, I am copying this query. After copying this query, just a minute. Now listen, this time I am coming here and particularly I am talking about the null. Writing here, hitting enter, and after hitting enter, describe st. Can you see? Last time null is not allowed, but right now null is allowed. Is that okay, everyone? Not null constraint is dropped. Yes or no? Next query. Write query to drop the unique constraint from the column email. From the column email, we wanted to drop the unique constraint. And you can see that if I wanted to drop the unique constraint, then I have to write down alter table, table name, drop index, then I have to mention constraint name. But the problem is that, sir, what this constraint name is. So take a look at the next line. Tip. Use show create table, table name query. The query is show create table, table name query to get the constraint name. So let me try to once write down this query. First of all, I am writing the query that is show create show create table. What is the name of the table? st, hitting enter. Spelling mistake. So everybody, can you see this portion? Can you see this portion on the notepad? In the notepad, create table st, roll number integer not null, name varchar20 default null, email varchar50 default null, 10th percentage double 5,2 default 33.0 state is there. But can you see for the unique key? The unique key is applied with the name email on the column email. First point. By default, the constraint name and column name both are same. Yes or no? The first one is your constraint name. Second one is your column name. So by looking here, can I say that by default constraint name and column name both are same? Yes or no? The format is unique key. After unique key, first it is going to be constraint name, and after constraint name, it is going to be column name. So by default, the column name and the constraint name, definitely both are same. So if I'm talking about the syntax, then the syntax is going to be alter table table name. This is st. Then we have to write down drop index, and after drop index, I am writing email. Next query, I am writing. Can you tell me difference in the line number 14 and line number 15? Please write on chat. Can you tell me difference in line number 14 and line number 15? Waiting for your responses. Both are different. Line number 14 is going to drop the unique key constraint from the column email, but the second query, line number 15, it is going to drop the entire column email. Getting my point? And if column is dropped, then definitely constraint is also dropped. Now everybody clear? Both queries, what is the difference? Yes or no? Yes, it is. That's great. So let me copy this query. After copying this query, I am coming here and doing right click, hitting enter. After hitting enter, describe st. Any constraint available? Unique key? No, it is dropped. Clear everybody how to drop the constraints? So how to drop primary key, how to drop not null, and how to drop the unique key constraint. This is something that is done for you. So I am once Control Z, Control A, Control X. Okay. This thing will be provided to you along with the today's notes also. And also this is something that is useful for you. So I will provide you the same also. Okay. Now, coming to next part. So queries are done. For this also query is done. Next query is line number. Next query is line number, line number, line number, line number, line number 56. Please take a look at the query. Please take a look at the query. Write query to default from column 10th underscore percentage. So the last job is to drop the default column. Only default property. I'm not saying that we are going to drop the 10th percentage column. We are saying that we are going to drop only the 10 percentage. Okay. Yes, it is. And you can see the syntax here. If I'm talking about the syntax to drop the default, then it is alter table table name, alter column name, drop default. Alter table table name, alter column, drop default. So the query is going to be alter table. What is the name of the table? st. Then again, we have to write down alter. What is the name of the column? The name of the column is going to be 10th percentage. And definitely then we have to write down here drop default. Is that okay? Semicolon, coming here, right click, hitting enter, then describe st. Any default value? Any default value? No. So all the constraints are dropped. So dropping the constraint and dropping the column, I hope it is clear that they are the two different operations. Yes or no? Dropping the column and dropping the constraint, they are the two different operations. Definitely it is. That's good. That's good. Now it comes to applying the constraints again. The first query, you can see that write query to make the roll number as a primary key again. Write query to apply not null on the column name again. Write query to apply unique constraint on the column email, and write query to apply default 33.00 on the column 10th percentage. Let me come to PPT. Into the PPT, please take a look at the syntax of adding the primary key. It is alter table table name, add primary key, bracket open, column name. If you wanted to apply the not null constraint, nothing special, just write down the modify query. At the end of the modify query, you need to write down not null. If you wanted to apply the unique constraint, write down the alter table query with modify, just add the constraint unique. If you wanted to apply the default, then you need to write down alter table name, alter column name, set default, and then the value. Shall I demonstrate with example? So talking about the very first query. The very first query, that write query to make the roll number column as primary key again. So we have to write down alter table. What is the name of the table? The name of the table is going to be st, alter table st. Then we have to write down add. After add, then we have to write down the primary key. And within the primary key, then we have to write down the column that is called roll number. First query is done. Write query to apply not null constraint on the column name. So I have to write down modify. Name of the column is name. Data type is definitely varchar 20. And the constraint that I wanted to apply is not null. Write a query to apply unique constraint on the column email. Then definitely alter table st modify. What is the name of the column? The name of the column is email. The data type is varchar. Size is definitely 50. And then finally, I need to write down unique here. Write query to apply. Default value 33 to column 10th percentage. Again, we have to write down alter table name. Then we have to mention alter. What is the name of the column? Name of the column is 10th percentage. Then we have to write down set default, and default value is 33.0. Copy this query. Copy. Right click, hitting enter. Describe st. Roll number is primary key. Yes or no? Please check. Roll number is primary key. Yes. Okay. Second query. Check if for name null is not allowed. Please check for name null is not allowed. Yes or no? Yes, it is. After alter query, check if unique constraint is applied or not. Yes, it is. Check if default value is applied or not. Yes, it is. So alter table query is completed. Alter table query is completed. Structure of the table is all seen. So first part, almost all DDL statements we have covered. Drop database, drop table. This is pending, but we will cover as per the demand. Don't worry. But not right now. It is good to cover. So far, everybody, I think smooth it is. In SQL, I don't think that you will face any problem, because if you clear with the format, if you remember the format of the query, then you just need to fill in the blank. That's all done. And this is what SQL is. It is the easiest topic of SB 101. Easiest topic. Shall I proceed further? Okay, it is. That's good. Or you need a 2-minute extra break? Some responses, okay, because next topic is DML. So before the next topic DML, I am giving you a 2-minute break extra. See you at 33 past 1. So everyone, now take a look at insert, query, syntax. Many of you were facing a lot of curiosity that how insert query to write down, etc., etc. For the insert query, broadly 2 formats are available. The very first format is written here. It is insert into table name, then column list is missing. Directly values keyword is here, and after values keyword, list of values has to be mentioned. If you are going to use the first syntax, then see, in the first syntax, you have to keep following things in mind. The first of all, if there is no column list mentioned, then first of all, you have to provide value for all the columns. Second, the order of columns in the table plus the order of values here, they must be same. Getting my point? Order of values in the query plus order of columns in the table, they must be same. First point clear? Or first format clear? Yes, it is. It will be good to take some example. From the example, you will understand better. So let me come here, and here you can see that add the following records to the table ST. Add the following records to the table ST. If I wanted to add the record to the table ST, then first thing that I have to write down is insert into. Name of the table is ST. If column list is missing, then we have to write down values, and within the values, I have to copy it everything. You know it very well. That's our all values should be within the single quotation. But for numerical value, this rule does not hold. So anything that is other than numerical value, I am putting them into the single quotation mark. Copy this query, coming here. Copying this query, coming here, right click, hitting enter. Can you see that query OK means record is inserted successfully? First format clear? Yes, it is. Let me come to the second format. So while writing about the second format, you can see that insert into table name. Everything is same, but just we are mentioning is what? We are mentioning the column list. When we are mentioning the column list, then there is one more facility available to you this time. Your sequence of values here plus sequence of column mentioned here, it must be same. But what is the actual order of column in the table is, it doesn't matter. Repeating my word again, the order of columns written here plus order of values written here, they must be same. Whatever be your column order in the table is, it doesn't matter. Clear it is? Because this time locally you have specified, so it is having precedence. Second number thing, now this time you are allowed to specify value for the selected columns. This time you are allowed to specify value for the selected columns. Means it is not necessary that you should give value for all the columns. If you wanted to skip values for some column, you can skip. Their default value will be inserted automatically. And you can see some pointers are given here. Date and string value must be within the single quotation or double quotation. Numerical value may or may not be within the single quotation or double quotation. Null value must not be within the single quotation or double quotation. And date format into the MySQL is YMD format. This rule we have already covered multiple times while having discussion about the insert query. So it will be good to take example of this one. Now I'm talking about the next query. First query is done. I'm talking about the next query. Next query, we wanted to add this record. And to add this record, again, the very first thing that we have to write down is going to be insert into. What is the name of the table? Name of the table is ST, bracket open. Columns are available. Yes, some columns are there. So let me talk about the column. Let's say that the first column I am writing is name. Second column I am writing is 10th percentage. Third column that I am writing is roll number. Fourth column that I am writing is state. And fifth column I am writing is email. Value that I wanted to write down is going to be DEF. Yes. So write down the value DEF for this. Then we have to mention 72.69 for 10th percentage. Yes. For the roll number, we have to mention the column that is 4. For the state, we have to mention the value. This is West Bengal. And finally, for the email, we are writing the value that is def@ms.com. Complete query is written. Query copied. Coming to MySQL, right click, hitting enter. Can you see? Query is working perfect. So how second format says that order of columns in the query plus order of values in the query, they should be same. What is the order of column in the table? It doesn't matter. Is that okay? Yes, it is. And you can see in the next case, if I'm talking about these 3 records, then for all the 3 records, can I say that it is taking default value for 10th percentage? Yes, it is. So one option is available that I should write down 3 different queries, but you can see in the black background, one thing is written here that multiple records can be added to a single table using single insert query. So it will be good to demonstrate the same, and to demonstrate the same thing, what I need to write down, just focus here. Just focus here. So this time, again, I'm writing the next query, and the next query is to insert multiple record into the one shot. So I'm writing here insert into. What is the name of the table? It is st bracket open bracket close. The first value I wanted to mention is for the roll number. Second I wanted to mention is for the name. Third is for the email. And fourth value I wanted to mention is for the state. So this time, can we say a very simple thing? The simple thing that we are saying is, if I'm talking about the email ID, then in case of the email ID, we are providing value. For name, we are providing value. For everything, we are providing value except for the 10th percentage. We are providing value for everything except for the 10th percentage. So this time, this time, this time. Comfortable with this way of writing the query? Yes or no? In a single query, I'm mentioning value for multiple records in the one shot. Finally, I'm hitting semicolon, copy, coming here, right click, hitting enter. Please check the result. How many records are inserted? 3. So can we say that using a single insert query, you can insert multiple records? Yes, it is reasonable. That's good. Now, if I'm talking about the remaining 3 records, then definitely remaining 3 records, that is record number 8, 9, 10, they can also be inserted. They can also be inserted, no problem. So let me insert the records, and to insert the records, I'm writing the query in which I'm not mentioning the column list. So I'm writing here insert into st. Then I'm writing here values. After writing here values, then we are writing here the first point, second point, and the third point. If I'm talking about the second point, then definitely second point is here. If I'm talking about the third point or the third entry or the last entry, it is here. So Karnataka is within the single quotation mark. Name AED is within the single quotation mark. What about value null? Shall I put into the single quotation? Shall I put the null into the single quotation or double quotation? Answer is perfectly no. Answer is perfectly no. Yes, it is. That's good. That's good. That's good. Okay. So let me once copy this query, and after copying this query, coming here, right click, hitting enter. How many records are inserted? 3 records. So I think every variety is covered. For the insert statement, all variety is covered. You can insert multiple records, no problem. Finally, view records of the table, and definitely to view record of the table, the query is select star from table name. Total entries available in this table are 10. So insert query, I hope it is comfortable to everyone. Yes or no? Yes, it is. Simple one. All variety. Don't worry, that solved sheet will also be provided to you. I'm having the solved sheet from the previous batches. Now, second thing we are writing is the update query. If you wanted to update a record, then definitely to update a record, the query is update table name set. Column name equal to value, column name equal to value, dot, dot, dot. Then finally, you have to mention where condition. Condition is optional here, but definitely in absence of the condition, all the records will be updated, which is completely undesirable normally. So let me write down. Let me take a look at the next question. Or once actually, let me copy the format of the query. Format of the query is copied here. The question, line number 86 is, write query to increase 10th percentage by 2% for all scholars whose 10th percentage is more than 70. Whose 10th percentage is more than 70. So in this condition, the point I am writing is update. What is the name of the table? The name of the table is 10th percentage. Set is a keyword available. You have to write down it as it is. What column I wanted to change? I wanted to change the column 10th percentage. By what figure? I need to increase by 2%. Then what I need to mention? Where condition. Into the where condition, the 10th percentage is required to be more than 70.00. Please everyone check the highlighted portion. Please check the highlighted portion. Is that okay? Once let us try to run this. Copy, coming here, right click, hitting enter. Name of the table is, oops, no. Name of the table, by mistake, I have typed wrong. You can update any number of columns in the syntax. I have mentioned just 2 columns. If any third column is there, you can mention third column, fourth column, fifth column. Now getting this point, why the 3 dots are there, or why these dots are there. Copy, coming here, right click, hitting enter. So everyone, how many records are updated? 5. Select query is there. Please check the result. 75 to 77, 75 to 77, 72 to 74, 77 to 79, 85 to 87. So update query is working perfect. Yes or no? Yes, it is. Then query to set percentage to 66.00, state to Kerala for student EFG. So again, definitely I have to write down update st set. The percentage I have to set is 66.00. So first criteria state is percentage is 66.00. The value of state I have to set is for Kerala. Okay. For the student EFG. For the student EFG. So it's good to write down name equal to EFG. Please check the query, line number 94. Please check the query, line number 94. Done. Write down this query, copy, coming here, right click, hitting enter. Update query is done. Select star from ST. So can you see that if I'm talking about the record EFG, its percentage is also change and its state is also change. Update query clear? Simple. Similarly, the next query is available, that is called the delete query. Similarly, the next query is available, that is called the delete query. In case of the delete query, you need to view record of the table is already done. Query to delete students whose percentage is more than or equal to 85.00. Take a look at the syntax of the delete query. So delete from is as it is. What is name of my table? ST. Then I need to mention where, and into the where then I need to write down that is 10 underscore percentage. Should be more than 85.00. Is that okay? Please check. Yes, it is. So copy and coming here, right click. No, not copied. Copy, right click. More than or equal to. In case of more than or equal to, I have to write down this one. I have to write down this one. Very good. But actually the result is not affected because I do not have any scholar whose percentage is 85. So query is having no impact. Correct query is already written here. Then finally, select star from ST. Please check if record number 9 is deleted. Please check if record number 9 is deleted. Yes, it is. So delete query working perfect, everyone. Yes, it is. So DML statements are completed, DRL statements are completed, and they are very basic. They are very basic. Common doubt regarding, sir, repeatedly you are writing the syntax select star from this, select star from that. What exactly the select statement is? So very simple point. The select statement is actually a DRL statement. The select statement is actually a DRL statement. We are going to just have a start. Not definitely. We are having only 10 minutes on our hand. So whatever be the reasonable, I will cover for you. First of all, DRL or DQL. See, name is DQL is also one popular term. DRL is also one popular term. Both are same. If you are saying data query language or if you are saying data retrieval language, there is no difference in them. Is that okay? DRL and DQL, they are kind of synonym. Some books writing DRL, some books says DQL, some site says DRL, some site say DQL. So data query language, it is used to fetch oblique, read the record from the table. The syntax is looking slightly big one, but I'm saying I would love to keep the syntax very simple for you. To keep the syntax very simple for you, only one part, select projection from table name. What exactly this projection is? Projection actually specify what column you wanted to see. For the projection, if you are writing star, star actually refer to all columns. Then you can mention column list also. This is the second value. Third thing that you can specify is the distinct keyword. The fourth thing that you can specify is the aliasing. The fourth thing that you can specify is the aliasing. These are all the possible values for the projection. The first is star, such that star is for all columns. Then there is column list available, then distinct is available, then definitely column name as new name is available. So let me write down with the query one by one. Line number 100, write query to view all records of the table. Write query to view all records of the table. Is it mentioning anything specific about the columns? In this query, anything special mentioned about the columns? No. If no, then by default go for the star. So the query is going to be select star from table name. What is the name of the table? ST. Is that okay? Star means all columns. Example is already here. Star means all columns. Now second query is available. Write query to view all records from the table such that only roll number, name and 10th percentage should be displayed in the result. So in this condition, definitely we have to talk about the column list. Yes or no? In this condition, I have to talk about column list. Yes or no? Yes, it is. So once copying the query, then coming here, hitting enter. Can you see that only roll number, name and 10th percentage is available? Okay. You can limit the number of columns also. Always keep in mind projection actually deals with the column. Projection actually deals with the columns. Take a look at the third query number 107. Write query to display all distinct value for the column 10th percentage. Write query to display all distinct value for the column 10th percentage. So I'm going to write down the two queries in front of you. From the two queries, definitely you will understand the concept better. Copy here, right click, hitting enter. Can you see that all the 9 records are there and duplicate values are also here? Yes, it is. Now let me write down the second query. Can you observe the difference? In the first query, we are having duplicate values, but in the second query, we are having all the distinct values. Yes or no? Yes, it is. So distinct keyword is used to find all the distinct values. Is that okay? Write query to display all records in the table such that roll number should be displayed with the heading roll number, name should be displayed with the heading student name, and 10th percentage should be displayed with the heading enter exam percentage. So if I'm talking about this query, in this query, the result is not required to be displayed with the original name or original column heading, but for the sake of display, we wanted to change column heading. Getting my point? Everyone, line number 1110, the roll number should be displayed with the heading roll number. The name should be displayed with the heading student name, and 10th percentage should be displayed with the heading enter exam percentage. So this time in the result, I do not wanted to show the original column name, but I wanted to show the modified name. Is that okay? And always keep in mind, whenever you are using select query is simple to read the query. So it is reasonable to conclude that whatever new name I am choosing, they are only for the result, but there is no change in the column name of the table. Getting my point? There will be no change in the table name of the column. Your column name, your table will remain unaffected. Only into the result names will be new. So can you see the syntax? Column name as new name, or you can write down column name, simple new name. Both syntaxes are okay. Both syntaxes are okay. Whatever syntax you wanted to use, you can use. Column name as new column name as new column name. So both the syntaxes we will see. So first thing, select what I wanted to display, roll number. I wanted to display roll number as roll number. Okay, comma. Then I wanted to display next column, that is name. Name I wanted to display as student name. The next thing that I wanted to display is 10th percentage, and I wanted to display 10th percentage as enter exam percentage. From what is the name of the table? The name of the table is ST. So here, can you see that first time I have used S keyword, but into the third case, I have not used S keyword. Both are perfectly okay. Means in the terms of aliasing, use of S keyword is not compulsory, it is optional. First point clear? Yes, it is. That's good. And if the alias name is multi-word, mind my words, if the alias name is multi-word, then that multi-word name must be within the single quotation or within the double quotation mark. Is that okay? This restriction is only for the multi-word. If your new column name is multi-word, then you have to put that into the single quotation mark or double quotation mark. If it is single word, then no need to write single quotation or double quotation. Means again, it is mandatory for the single word. Please take a look. The same result is available with the new column heading. Yes or no? Yes, it is. That's great. Take a look at the next query. Write query to view all the records of the table such that roll number should be displayed with the heading RN. Roll number should be displayed with the heading that is RN. Okay. Then name should be displayed with the heading as name. Okay. That's good. Then 10th percentage should be displayed with the heading 10 underscore PER from what is the name of the table ST. Here you can see I have used S keyword. I have not used S keyword. Single quotation, double quotation is not required. If you are writing, then it is okay. If you are not writing, still it is okay. All combinations for projection is clear. Star, column list, distinct, and aliasing. Yes or no? Okay or not? Yes, it is. The solved part of the sheet will be shared to you with solution. Okay. This entire unsolved sheet will be shared to you. Apart from the unsolved sheet, whatever the solved part is there, it will also be shared to you. Okay, everybody, sufficient? Or shall I cover further where clause also? No, I think that is sufficient for the day. That is sufficient for the day. So this is unsolved sheet. Better to press lot of Control Z to make it available in its original state. Finally, this part is sufficient. Okay, I will share to you. So go to the LMS and fill the feedback form. Anything from your side, Anand and Shishir? Seems
No,
no.
no, sir.
Okay,
Nothing.
okay, okay, okay. Okay, everybody. So today you are having IA stand up also. Please make sure to attend the IA stand up and make sure to do the assignments also. Okay. So go for the LMS, fill the feedback. That's all for the day. Bye bye. No feedback form on LMS. Anand, please check.
It is there. It is there. Please check. Let me share.
Everybody is saying it is not there.
Okay. Like it is all for it is for everyone, or like Anand is facing this problem?
Three or four scholars have told me. Now 7, 8, 9,
It is
10.
there. It is
It is
there.
there. Some scholars are saying it is there. That's good. It is in the lecture section. It is available. Anand, please share the lecture link. I think might be they have opened something wrong.
Yeah, let me share it. Yeah, please check here.